Hello everyone, this is Speaker Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to talk about cinemas and the box office and how well theatres are seemingly coming back in this post-pandemic era during this weekend in particular. Now, this weekend saw two big releases theatrically worldwide. The first of these was of course No Time to Die, the latest James Bond installment, and the second of these was Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, despite both films not being released in all global territories, they have both performed really well over this first weekend. Now, we look first at No Time to Die, which after being released internationally in markets on the 30th of October, it's managed to gross over 119 million worldwide, making it the first movie to gross over 100 million without a China release in this post-pandemic era. Now, it's due to be released in China on October the 29th, and it will be released also in US cinemas on the 8th of October. So the fact that it hasn't opened in two of the biggest theatrical markets in both the US and China, I think overall that's a very good achievement for this latest installment. Now, we have to give the caveat that there has been much rumoured speculation with the perception of this film, and basically that it needs to make over 800 to 900 million in order to break even, and that's something that's still very dumbfounding to me overall. That's almost illogical in terms of any movie, the fact that it has to gross that amount just to break even. And when we look at the film's budget, it was around between 200 and 300 million, but still to gross that amount to just be able to break even, it's still staggering. But whichever way you look at it, whether you like this film or not, you cannot deny that this is still a very good achievement and a very good starting point for the film if it is indeed to reach any levels of profitability. But regardless of the film's budget, the fact that it's managed to gross this amount clearly shows that the Bond franchise is still very popular amongst fans and also amongst critics as well. And it also shows that there's enough within the franchise to make people go out and venture into the cinema to watch movies. And I think that's very good for the industry going forward. Now, to be honest, all of Daniel Craig's films have been very successful at the box office. The highlights include Skyfall, which grossed over $1 billion, and the most recent entry prior to this one being Spectre back in 2015, which managed to gross over 880 million worldwide. So Daniel Craig's entry has been very box office prominent within all of his run as the character. So what are the chances overall? Well, whilst I don't think No Time to Die will get close to 900 million or even $1 billion, I think it could have a good shot at matching Fast 9's theatrical performance, which stands just over 700 million. I think it's got a good shot at catching that. So we could be looking at overall the year's most highest grossing movie, certainly until we see the release of Spider-Man No Way Home coming forward in December. So overall, this is great news for the project, defying many speculation and negative social media commentary surrounding the project. We had all of those doomsday predictions that this was going to be the end of the franchise. But the Bond film has proved many of those doubters wrong, and I think it's great for the character and also shows that the franchise can still go forward post Daniel Craig as well. So a very good achievement for No Time to Die. We then talk about Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And of course, this is a sequel to the first film Venom going back in 2018, which made over 850 million worldwide. A massive box office success. That in itself proved that was wrong because it was a Venom film being made without Spider-Man. Now, Venom Let There Be Carnage opened up its weekend within US theatres, and the film has grossed over 90 million in its opening 3 days, finally dethroning Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, which was on top of the box office charts for the last 4 weeks. Now, and of course, in terms of the opening weekend, Venom Let There Be Carnage has risen to the top, surpassing Black Widow, which had the original record for this year in terms of box office weekend, standing at 80 million, and Shang-Chi was sitting at number 3 in terms of 75.4 million. Now, Venom Let There Be Carnage, despite having very mixed and negative reviews, it has succeeded because it was the thrill of seeing Carnage in live action for the first time. Carnage, along with Venom, ranks alongside one of Spider-Man's most iconic villains. So seeing him battling alongside Venom was always going to garner a lot of interest. I think also the PG-13 rating helped. I know a lot of people criticised this because they felt it took away a lot of the edge from a murderous character like Carnage. But the PG-13 obviously winded it up to a wider audience, so many teenagers, parents who could take their kids along and watch this movie. So that gave the movie far more scope and opportunity to gross as much as it did in its opening 3 days. The added element also is that despite the first film also receiving negative reviews, a lot of people did enjoy the dynamic between Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and the alien symbiote as well, voiced by Tony Todd. So again, the film has seemingly delved very much even more so into that character dynamic between the two. So if you were a fan of the first film, then you would very much go and enjoy this second film overall. So I think the success of Venom Let There Be Carnage is very much of a great sign again that people are indeed prepared to go back to theatres. And also it gives Sony a lot of confidence because, as we all know, they are very much developing their own superhero universe, if you like, without Spider-Man currently. So, of course, we have the 2 Venom films, and also we have the Morbius film, which I believe is due for release in January 2022. And, of course, we have Kraven the Hunter in development as well. So Sony have clear plans now to build their own universe. And of course, the major success of Venom and also Venom Let There Be Carnage will have implications going forward in terms of Sony's current sharing of Spider-Man with Marvel, and we'll see further effects of this when we have Spider-Man No Way Home and the upcoming multiverse storyline that will be implicated within the MCU as well, which I've stated in previous videos, I believe is ultimately an exercise that will see eventually a breaking away of the sharing of the character, and will allow both Sony and Marvel to use the character in their own respective universes without having to connect to previous films overall. And I think the further success of Venom Let There Be Carnage gives Sony even more confidence that they can indeed take Spider-Man back and use him without the connection within the MCU. So overall, in terms of both Bond and Venom Let There Be Carnage, great signs that people are indeed more than happy to go back to theatres. The fact that they are both theatrically exclusive films is again another debunking to the whole idea of movies being shared with day and date streaming overall. As movies continue to be more accessible, I think it does essentially put an end to that argument that movies are only viable on internet streaming now. I think essentially we're going to see much more of a dialing back on that, in terms in particular of Warner Brothers for 2022, and also I believe with other streaming platforms. Maybe Disney Plus will still adhere to it, but I think we'll see far less projects adopt that streaming release, and I think overall that's good. That's the right attitude to take for theatres. It's always better for the industry if theatres are more prospering, and also movies do make more money within theatrical releases overall, because of course the movies are far less subject to privacy. So overall I think this is a great result for James Bond as a franchise, a great result for Sony and their continuing of their own superhero universe, but most of all it's a great result for cinematic fans and theatres in general, showing that overall if you make the right product and it's got the right levels of hype and interest on a mainstream level, then people will venture out to cinemas in order to watch it. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings on both the recent big box office opening weekends for both No Time to Die and Venom Let There Be Carnage. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is a great sign for theatres? Do you think it's a bit of a concern that we will continue to see more sequels and reboots and franchise films rather than original projects? Let me know what you think it will bear in the long run for theatres as well. Please also hit and like those subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay at safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.